is brought to you by realestate.com.au, Australia's #1 address in property. With more properties for sale than anywhere else, we make it easier.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the weekend's auction results. Nationally, the clearance rate was 68.5% from 1,383 auctions. In Sydney, there were 506 auctions with a clearance rate of 53.4%. Additionally, 1,260 properties were sold privately. In Melbourne, there were 513 auctions with a clearance rate of 63%. Another 995 homes were sold through private treaty. In Brisbane, there were 63 auctions with a clearance rate of 34.9%. Another 1,108 properties were sold privately. In Adelaide, there were 53 auctions with a clearance rate of 73.6%. Additionally, 248 properties were sold through private treaty. In Canberra, there were 54 auctions with a clearance rate of 68.5%. There was also another 88 private sales. Well, let's bring in Anne Flaherty, economist with REA Group. And thanks for your time today. Clearance rates seem to be looking a bit stronger at the moment. What's the main reasons for that?
Yeah, we've seen clearance rates really pick up over the last few weeks. I think one of the things driving that is that vendors have started to adjust their price expectations downwards. So when prices first started to decline, we saw a bit of a difference in what buyers were willing to pay versus what vendors were willing to accept. That's now starting to shift, and we're starting to see vendors be willing to accept maybe a slightly lower price.
I saw a story in the paper today showing that one vendor accepted $150,000 less than the asking price for the property. So is this a trend that you think we're going to start seeing more of around the country?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that people are recognising that conditions in the property market have changed. Last year was an extreme seller's market. This time we're now starting to see buyers have more choice and buyers have a bit more negotiating power than they did.
So is now the time to be buying or the time to be selling?
Look, I think now is probably a really great time to be a buyer. We're seeing more properties come up for sale in the market at the moment. We're also starting to see properties take a little bit longer to sell. In other words, buyers have some more breathing room than they used to.
Interest rates have kept rising as well. So what impact is that having on buyer activity?
Look, interest rates have been rising extremely rapidly, and that's constraining buyers. So we're seeing that restrict how much buyers can offer on a property. This is also showing up in lending data. So July this year compared with July last year, the total value of new lending is actually down 11%, which is a pretty significant drop.
So some buyers just can't borrow as much money as they could in the past. So does that mean they might be forced into buying a slightly smaller home or an apartment or something like that?
Yeah, we've seen some interesting changes on realestate.com.au. So we've actually seen the proportion searching to buy a property at above $1.5 million dramatically decrease. And at the same time, we've seen an increase in the share of would-be buyers searching at below that $1 million level. So that's going to feed into prices as well.
What about stock levels right now? Is there still a lot of stock available out there on the market?
Yeah, look, we are still seeing a pretty good, strong volume of stock on the market. We also expect that stock to increase. So October's the most popular month of the year to sell a property. And as we move closer towards October, we're likely to see the volume of properties that come up for sale increase.
And what sort of traffic are you getting on the website on realestate.com at the moment?
Well, there's still plenty of buyers out there. We're still seeing quite a high number of highly engaged would-be buyers searching for properties out there. So despite the fact that we're seeing prices come down, despite the fact that we're seeing buyers more constrained by higher interest rates, people are still looking to buy. It's just that perhaps what they're willing to spend on a property has come down from where it was.
Anne Flaherty, economist REA Group, thanks for your time today.
My pleasure.